Our vision is exceptional people providing exceptional service, and certainly if you're going to have a vision statement like that, then you certainly want to have your employees able to provide that level of service.
Citizens are expecting safe, clean, and peaceful neighborhoods, especially as we try to revitalize our city. Home ownership is very important. We want to create an environment where people can live, work, and play, and their homes are safe within the community.
You know, training is one of those things that isn't talked about a whole lot, but quite honestly, it's one of the most important things, if not the most important thing, that our officers go through here at the police department. It really helps us be prepared for anything that we may come across out in the field, any sort of threat, and it really helps us to serve our community better.
The training really is designed to sort of be a toolbox for our officers. So, you know, in their toolbox, they have everything that they need to go out there and be successful on a day-to-day basis.
Our officers go through a 24-week combined academy with Lakewood, Jeffco, and it's pretty intense. It involves a lot of classroom, but more importantly, it also involves a lot of field work, a lot of training at different training areas involving everything from active shooters to how to pull people over properly. It's a very intensive training and one that we believe is very good for our new officers coming in. After our new officers are formally brought into the police department, they have what's called an FTO program, a field training officer program, where they actually shadow their field training officer for a number of months before they're allowed to go out on their own. This is a chance to get a feel not only for the way we do things here at Wheat Ridge, but to also get questions answered that would arise in the real world that may not be covered in training, things that may be a little bit out of the ordinary that they wouldn't know how to handle in their own right away. Their FTOs can really help them with that, and those months that they do are absolutely invaluable to them.
This is phase 4 week of Officer Carmen's training. So basically what I'm doing is shadowing him, just making sure everything's going good and he's comfortable with his job before we let him go on his own.
The variety of calls we get is so diverse that having a longer training period enables us to experience a diverse amount of calls with someone that's extremely experienced and can kind of guide us through the process.
For me, it's just seeing somebody come in and new and kind of watch them grow as a police officer and teach them what I've learned in the last 10 years doing this job. And I think it's really important to mentor these guys and kind of give them some life experience from my end.
Because every day, on an average, each of us are involved in 7 to 10 conflicts a day.
The training that we provide to new officers involves dealing with conflict management and communication skills.
This one says we find comfort among those who agree with us, growth among those who don't. What does that mean to you?
So this morning I presented some of the basic concepts and the major points of conflict management to 2 new hires. So the purpose is to talk about conflict management from a customer service perspective, and how to understand people and how to connect with them so that you can provide the best service possible.
The bottom line of conflict is about two things. It's about power and it's about self-esteem.
The training that we did this morning is the same kind of training that we provide to our officers, especially new officers coming onto the department. We're all about dealing with conflict in a positive way and seeing conflict for the opportunity that it presents.
At different points during the year, our officers, all the way from line level officers all the way up to the chief himself, can go through a number of different training hours, thousands of training hours on a variety of different subjects that are both very general and both very specialized. Also for our SWAT team, our detectives, people like that, they take very specialized training all throughout the year. Everyone at the department, however, goes through 40 hours worth of in-service training, and that happens every year, and it's every person in the department is required to take a general week of training that we put on for them. That also involves things like classwork, crisis intervention training, first aid and CPR, firearms. It pretty much covers the entire gambit.
One of the hot button topic areas from a tactics perspective has been emergency preparedness, incident command, and responding to active shooters. So we spend quite a bit of time on an annual basis looking at those kinds of issues as they may occur within our community, within the state, or nationally, to make sure that we're teaching our officers the very best tactics to ensure their safety and, more importantly, the safety of the public that we serve.
What we're doing today is an exercise in conjunction with Lakewood. We're practicing hazmat decontamination with the fire department on scene, and officers' response to a hazardous materials incident.
The scenario was we had approximately 20 people, 20 citizens who were standing around waiting for an RTD transport downtown to attend a convention, and had a citizen who was upset with the convention and the reasons for the convention. So he had a gun and he sprayed these people with a simulated insecticide of malathion.
This is an excellent exercise for something we hope never happens. Multiple fire departments, hospitals, and law enforcement agencies to practice these things is impressive, but it prepares us for that event we hope doesn't happen, but we'll be ready for when it does.
Okay, I got 12 people with me. They're safe. They're awaiting medical. The car has not been cleared. The vehicle's been not cleared, and nobody knows if there's anybody else in it.
The main involvement with Wheat Ridge is going to be we're helping Lakewood, observing the command post and seeing how the officers' response are so we can train our officers better on response. But the main portion is the Lutheran Hospital part. Lutheran Hospital is practicing their decontamination and how they would deal with patients that just walked in after an incident. One thing about the metro area is you really never know where patients are going to self-transport to. With the big hospitals in the area being St. Anthony's and Lutheran, we anticipate that in an incident like this, some patients would just go to Lutheran whether they were transported there or not. But teamwork's very important, and that's why we involve so many different agencies. We have our public works here, people here observing. We have one of the other commanders here observing. People from the health department are here, and both hospitals are involved, as well as Lakewood Police, West Metro Fire, and Lakewood Emergency Management, as well as Wheat Ridge.
We're just observing the incident response to kind of have an idea on what we need to do in case this would happen in the city of Wheat Ridge, where the contamination would possibly run off into the storm drain, how we could block that off, how we could potentially block off the streets that needed to be blocked off.
You want to get together and practice prior to a real incident, because in this situation you build relationships and you learn from each other so that when the real incident happens, it's not the first time you're calling somebody and the first time you're working through some of the issues that may come up.
So take your time, think about your fundamentals, get your sight picture, sight alignment, nice easy trigger pull.
Police, hands up, don't move! Police, hands up, don't move!
Today we're at Rooney Range in Golden, Colorado, Morrison, and we're doing some firearms in-service for all of our officers at the Wheat Ridge Police Department. They have to get recertified quarterly, but this is also part of our yearly in-service training. It's one of the most important things that officers do as far as in the field. They do go through a variety of different tasks as far as shooting their firearms are concerned. They go through safety, they go through classes. It's all-encompassing for everything that they have to do with their firearms while on duty.
And depending on the position of your suspects, you can either take a position here and engage and provide cover, or if you need to, you move around here so you can come back this way. The officer rescue stuff that we just did is something that we rarely get a chance to practice with the smaller groups that we have going through the in-service. It gives us a good opportunity to get people a feel for what we would have to do in an emergency situation when we went in to rescue a downed officer. Hauler go, driver comes back around, gets in, boom, you're gone, just like you were never even here. Piece of cake, right? That was a good job right there. Repetition is critical because consistency becomes habit and muscle memory gets ingrained, and then you do things without having to think about it. And so it's important to train your muscles to do things correctly. So we have to train over and over again the correct way. That way when it comes down to it and you're all full of adrenaline and pumped up and nervous and scared, you do things the way you've trained. Like I said, it's not something that we practice frequently. It's not something that we hope that we ever have to use. But every once in a while, we can get in here and get a few repetitions through so that there is a little bit of muscle memory built up and a little bit of operational understanding.
First of all, from a trust perspective, citizens and visitors to our community know that our officers are going to be well trained and they're going to provide the very best level of service.
Oh, I've been doing this for almost 22 years now, and it's gratifying to be able to help people and to have confidence in their abilities, and to be able to know that if this officer gets called out on something, I know that he or she can handle it, can take care of it, can do what they need to do.
The community benefits from as much preparedness and training as the police department can possibly do prior to an incident will be better when the incident actually happens. Again, there's always unforeseen circumstances that come up in an incident, but as you train, you work through some of those things that may come up in the real situation.
Everything an officer does is based around their experience and training. And that's why we do so much of it, and that's why we push so much of it, is because everything's always changing and it's an ever-changing world, and you never really know what you're going to come up against in the field. The more we can prepare our officers, the better off they're going to be to not only protect the community, but to protect themselves as well.
So here's what we're talking about. Exceptional people providing exceptional customer service. That's what we're all about here at Wheat Ridge Police Department.
One of our top goals is training, and it's about using best practices. And it's about really being the very best that you can be and have the pride in what the badge stands for and what it means to be a member of the Wheat Ridge Police Department.
I think Wheat Ridge Police Department takes this training very seriously. They know that it's, this is a life or death job, and they know that it's the most important thing that we can do for our officers is teach them how to do the job.
That partnership between the city and the neighbors and the businesses and the police department brings forth higher property values, safer neighborhoods. Wheat Ridge has always been really well known for having safe, clean, and peaceful neighborhoods. We want to maintain that reputation. In fact, when I was 16, 17 years old, I grew up in Northwest Denver. We knew that when we crossed Sheridan Boulevard going west, that the police department in Wheat Ridge was always on top of traffic and speeding and crime. So we never acted up or tried to cause any trouble in the city of Wheat Ridge when I was in high school, because we knew that the police department was there for the community.
Well, if you expect a high level of service, which I do, and which our elected officials do and our community does, then you have to provide your employees with the very best tools to do their job. Our mission, our goal in terms of providing that exceptional level of service and trying to engender the public's trust and to be accountable to the public, requires a commitment to training, to ensure that your employees, my employees, have the very best tools that they need to provide the very best level of service.